A passionate and virulent speech has sent shockwaves through political analysts across South Africa. Many commentators now view it as a potential turning point in the trajectory of the governing African National Congress, ANC. During what was expected to be a routine, behind-closed-doors National Executive Committee, NEC, briefing, ANC Secretary-General Fikile Mbalula unleashed a blistering and unprecedented oral attack on President Cyril Ramaphosa, accusing him of abandoning the ideals that once inspired hope in both the party and the nation. What was meant to be a mundane political meeting quickly escalated into a dramatic confrontation, one that could reshape Ramaphosa's presidency forever. Mbalula, renowned for his impassioned delivery and unapologetically blunt language, did not hold back. "Mr. President, you promised us change," he bellowed. "You addressed the nation and said, a new dawn. Yet what we have experienced so far is darkness, division, and disappointment." The room reportedly fell into stunned silence, punctuated only by whispers and murmurs as party elders struggled to process the torrent of criticism. The speech, originally intended to remain confidential within the NEC, was leaked to the press and rapidly went viral, sparking intense debate across every political corner of South Africa. Mbalula's complaints went far beyond superficial critique; they constituted a scathing assessment of Ramaphosa's leadership. He accused the president of overseeing a government paralyzed by indecision and excessive compromise, rendering it dysfunctional. "You are not leading," Mbalula said. "You are negotiating with failure. That is not what we came for." Attendees noted that his voice grew louder and more insistent as he catalogued failures ranging from chronic corruption and skyrocketing unemployment to the disintegration of critical state institutions, including healthcare and energy. "You assured us you were going to clean up the party," Mbalula continued. "Yet we still defend the same corrupt comrades we promised to remove. You pledged to restore the people's trust, but now they are turning away in record numbers. Just look at the polls. Look at the streets. The people are fed up." The anger that had simmered beneath the surface for so long was now erupting in the face of party leadership, and the criticism struck directly at Ramaphosa's habit of appeasing factions rather than confronting them. Mbalula described the president as a political appeasement prisoner, too preoccupied with preserving peace to enact the radical reforms he once championed. "You're too busy pleasing everyone, Mr. President. In doing so, you disappoint everyone. We don't need a manager. We need a leader," Mbalula declared. The NEC's response was reportedly mixed. Some members quietly cheered him for voicing frustrations they shared privately, while others appeared aghast, viewing the tirade as reckless and destabilizing. Regardless of internal reactions, the speech ignited a fire under an already fragile party unity. Political commentators have described it as one of the most brazenly combative episodes in the ANC's post-apartheid history. Analyst Malika, speaking on a television roundtable, described the outburst not as an impulsive eruption but as a warning shot. Mbalula was signaling to Ramaphosa, "Get your act together or resign." His remarks came amid a multifaceted crisis within the ANC. Once overwhelmingly dominant, the party's support base is now in decline. Years of broken promises and scandals have left public services collapsing, while load shedding affects the daily lives of millions of South Africans. Initially seen as a reforming president of integrity, Ramaphosa has increasingly been regarded as ineffective by both allies and critics. "Tired are our people," Mbalula continued. "They are not fools. They see the load shedding, experience the poverty, worry about crime, and listen to our speeches, but they sense no change. That is the reality." For many within the party and across the nation, these words cut deep. The "A New Dawn" slogan had once inspired hope that the ANC might break free from years of discrediting governance. For critics like Mbalula, however, that dawn never arrived; it was merely more of the same, wrapped in unfulfilled promises. The backlash was swift. Opposition parties seized on the speech as proof of the ANC's faltering grip on power. The Democratic Alliance declared that Mbalula's words confirmed what the public already knew: Ramaphosa's administration is fragile, and the party is broken beyond repair. The economic freedom fighters, with characteristic humor, thanked Mbalula for finally recognizing reality. Public reaction, especially on social media, was equally intense, with opinions, memes, and debate spreading rapidly. One Twitter user wrote, "Finally, someone within the ANC is speaking the truth. We were promised a new era, but all we got was load shedding and lies." Another commented, "Mbalula just said what millions have been thinking. It's about time someone in power spoke out." Inside the ANC, top leaders reportedly scrambled to contain the fallout. Crisis meetings, damage control strategies, and private calls for Mbalula to soften his rhetoric were all underway. Yet Mbalula remained unshaken, convinced that the party is on a path toward collapse if it does not change direction immediately. Whether his speech signals a future leadership bid, a factional power grab, or a final act of conscience remains unclear. One fact, however, is certain: the old normal has been shattered. Ramaphosa, once regarded as a unifying figure, now finds his support base shrinking daily. As the ANC prepares for the 2026 election, the stakes have never been higher. The party's historical dominance is at risk, and internal factionalism is spilling into the public sphere in increasingly uncontrollable ways. For Ramaphosa, the challenge is clear: reassert control and lead decisively, or risk being remembered as the president who oversaw the ANC's decline. Observers now watch closely to see whether Mbalula will face disciplinary action, whether Ramaphosa will respond with a cabinet reshuffle or bold policy changes, or whether the party will descend further into chaos. One thing is undeniable: Mbalula's incendiary speech has stripped away the ANC's carefully maintained facade of unity. It has exposed deep cracks, failed promises, and growing discontent among both party members and citizens. For President Ramaphosa, the era of empty assurances is over.